So now what I will request you, share with us about what are the protective factors in a family for a child to stay away from drugs. What are the protective factors in the family? What is it that an ideal situation for a family is if a situation of a family is of a particular kind, and what would be that kind which will ensure children will not get into drug use, children will stay away from drugs. So family will play the role of being providing protection and security to the child, and not not instigate or not promote the child into drug use. So what are your thoughts?
In my view, first of all, we should be open to our kids. We should have enough time to talk to them. If they have some kind of situation, so we are open to them and we are there to help them out. And second, we should be very watchful what peer group they are sitting in it. In the adolescent, they have lot of peer pressure. So we have to work on it, what kind of environment they are sitting, what kind of queries they are having. So we have to be there for their open communication as well as counseling, without telling them that we are counseling them, because they don't want to take it as a direct. So we have to be there all the time. We have to be there for listening them without any judgment. So these are the factors we should give them.
Sure.
I think, in my opinion, behavior observance, we can recognize that he's addicted or going towards all these bad things.
Okay.
Yes.
So
With the help
observation
this, we can
of your
recognize.
child is very important by a parent.
Yes, behavior observance
And
is
their
must.
behavior.
Yes.
Perfect.
I think be a friend of your child is the most important thing, so that he can या she can share all the things या जो भी any problem which he or she face can communicate with their parents.
Perfect. So be a friend, and so that they can share with you and they won't hide from you.
We talk with our children, the merit and demerit such type of drugs that is going on in our surroundings, and so the merits and demerits, and so that their reflection that is going on in our neighborhood. And also we observe their connectivity that is in our surrounding where we live. There are so many cases. We see that most of the students, they are school-going boys, girls, but they addict such type of drugs. So we observe their condition and tell to our children how can they, their demerits, they will affect further when they grow up.
Okay. Okay. So you will discuss about the merits and demerits, and ensure that you will also discuss with them about the neighborhood, because sometimes it can be drug use maybe in the neighborhood, so you would like to know. Discuss similarly what ma'am said, that supervision is important, so you would like to supervise with whom they are spending time and so on and so forth. Anybody would like to add anything else?
Sir, we also need to tell them what impacts are going to happen on their body to our kids.
So you are focusing on what you would do in terms of providing them more information. Tell us also about what is it a family can do. Like, for example, you spoke of observing their behavior, you spoke of doing their counseling, he spoke of talking about the merits and demerits. What is it the family can also do in addition to what we just shared to ensure that the child stays away from the drugs?
For me, happy family. First and foremost thing, no stress from the family, and the parents should be like a ideal for them. If father is taking or mother is taking some type of drug and we are saying don't take this drug, they are bad. So what example we are giving them?
Okay.
So for me, happy family and stress-less family, जिसमें कोई stress ना हो, that family can support their child.
So less stress and happiness in the family is important. So we'll stop here and we'll just, because you have covered most of the points, I am not going to share all the points that we have. You have shared mostly all the points. You have spoken of parenting. It's very important to be attached to the child, which you just shared about, that you have to be their friend and spend time with the child. That's very important. It's very important to also set the rules for the child right from the beginning. And irrespective of the child is a male or a female, the rules should be same. It should not be different for the females and it should not be different for the boys. So for both boys and girls, the rules should be same and they should be set right in the beginning of as they grow in their childhood, you start setting the rules as a parent. So parental supervision you spoke of, that's very important, not just of a child, also of their friends. Maybe call them over. You would want to know who their friends are, with whom they are spending their few hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, where they are going. So you would like to know that. So you would like to call their friends as well. Discipline is very important, but we will not be, as a parents, we will never be violent, either verbally or physically. We will ensure as parents not to be violent with our children. Communication skill is very important, good communication. When we say good communication, we have to ensure that we do not get into the argument with the child. We ensure that we have a cordial relationship. Communication is effective when you are listening while you are giving your any kind of your opinion, you are also listening. So, and you are not getting into any kind of argument. Also, to ensure that we are not giving a judgment every time. We are not making similar, comparison with other kids. See, so and so relative is doing this, and you are not doing this. So, rather you focus on the child. Interest in child's life you shared. And as a parent, we have to be emotionally supportive. And we have to be also financially supportive for our children during those years of growing up. We just now discussed about what are the factors which will ensure in a family that children will stay away from drugs. They may not indulge into any kind of drug use. What are some of those protective factors in our family which must happen and which we just discussed? Now we are going to discuss with you and would rather like to know from you as well. What are some of the factors in our family which may put children at the risk of getting into drug use? Because there is so and so problem in our family, because there is so and so issue between our parents, because there is so and so environment in our own family, because of which the child might get into drug use. Please.
Hostile environment for the kids, use of drug itself in the home.
Hostile environment in the family means?
Suppression of child.
So you don't listen to the child,
Yeah.
You don't allow him to share his
Yeah.
feelings, thoughts, her feelings, her thoughts.
Not entertained properly.
So you don't give him attention, respect and listen. All right.
And second thing, use of drug itself in the house.
And if there is already drug use in the family, that is going to be a risk factor for sure.
And the neighborhood, there's a lot of drugs, things are going on, smoking, alcohol, these things are going on, and they are not supervised well enough. Then that will also lead to the a child to go into the drugs, because it will instigate the inquisitivity in them. What is this? How to use this? If they are using, why not me? To the use.
So there
of
are also factors beyond your family, which are actually sometimes beyond your control, which is the environment around your neighborhood. That if there is drug use in the environment, that again puts them at a higher risk. So
taboo of discussing all these things at home. It's still
so there is a lot of taboo in our families which has to go.
Yeah, they are not communicating on this topic. Also lead to this kind of situation.
So lot of taboo, less communication, lack of awareness. So all these factors may put them at a risk. Yeah, please.
So peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
Yeah.
Peer pressure. Okay. Yes.
Quarreling in the family.
So if there are fights in the family among parents.
Yes.
With
Separation between parents.
Separation of a family, separation of parents, that may also put them at a risk.
Sir, yes, I think in my opinion, the lack of good communication skill with the children is the main thing. At that time, we are not sharing and we are not listening that he or she wants to share.
Yeah, okay. So ma'am had spoken of having a hostile environment. So similarly, if we are not communicating,
easily money available for purchasing the alcohol or drugs for children.
So availability of money for the child.
Sir, we put good sanskar from his child.
Value system in the family is very important.
This is custom from our family. And we train them what is good and bad.
So if there are no values, we are talking about the risk factors.
Yes,
So if
yes,
there is no value education in
so
the family,
tradition
that might
is
put them
very
at the risk.
important. We put them
Okay.
good sanskar from his childhood.
Okay.
And
Okay.
this is the one way to protect him from going such type of condition.
Okay, so if there is no value education, that might put them at the risk of getting into drug use. So it is important to have some kind of value education in our families.
And child discrimination in the family. Suppose sometime we favor boy child in favor of girls.
Yeah.
Different rules for the boys and different rules for the girls.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes we allow for boys for doing the same thing and we don't allow girls for doing the same thing.
Yeah. So
This also creates.
so child is confused, so they are not sure what to follow.
So one important point is exposure to social media, Google. They are getting lots of over information and wrong information from there. They are not even discussing with the parents. They want to try it once.
Okay.
That's a main thing for me. Is the Google, YouTube, and all this exposure of internet is the main factor that is creating drug abuse in our children. And these days, online classes, they are always on the system, on their computer. And for me, many websites that are above 18 and they are using them. And they get exposure of lot of drugs, and it's a very bad thing. Social media and internet for me nowadays is the important factor that is creating this abuse.
Okay. So what I am understanding from your sharing is it's very important for parents to discuss with the children. If they are unsupervised, this is another avenue of information, social media. So unless we supervise, if there is no supervision in our families and there is access to internet, that misinformation can put them at the risk of getting into drug use. We spoke of bonding. We spoke of relationship. It's very important to have some significant relationship with someone in the family with whom they can confide. Children can confide their feelings, their problems, their issues. That's important. We spoke of, again, discipline is very important. If there is no discipline, which you just referred to, they have access to net and you are not careful about how they are using this access, how they are using internet, and there is no supervision. If there is a disorganized environment in the family itself, there are fights within the family, and you already mentioned if someone in the family is already using the drugs, it could be a parent, either parent or elder sibling, that can also put children at the risk of getting into drug use. One thing which I loved the fact that you shared, sometimes what happens, family feels that we are not able to spend enough time with the child, so to compensate, let us give some money. So, and then that availability of money, you rightly pointed out, it's very important, it's very critical, that may get used for wrong purposes, and that may put, again, children in a situation where they may use such money for using drugs or getting drugs in the first place. So it's very important to ensure that we rather give them time. We rather give them, have some time with them, spend time with them, not only with them, but with the parents, with their friends as well, so that money should not be the factor which should be compensating your time. Your time is valuable for your children. Having said so, as we move on, we just discussed about the parents and what are some of the factors in a family which may put children into a higher risk of getting into drug use. We discussed them briefly. In addition to this, I did discuss in between, but I would like to just reiterate few things. There are certain factors which are not always in the control of a family or a parent. So there are certain traits of a personality of a child which are, for example, sensation seeking. So there are certain kids who may be keen on seeking sensation. For them, some of the children might be delinquent, so they might be, the personality is such that they may get into some behavior which is delinquent in nature. So our impulsive behavior, impulsive thoughts, which means reckless behavior, thoughtless behavior, not thinking about what might the consequences be, and acting and having a certain behavior without having any thought about the consequences of it. So these are some of the personality traits of children which we have to be aware of, mindful of, where parents do not have much control. These are the traits of a personality. There are some mental health conditions as well, which could be depression as well. It could be anxiety, it could be suicidal thoughts. Again, these mental health conditions also of a child are beyond the control of a parent. They may need a support of a mental health professional, and as such, parents in such situations cannot do much. So certainly they need a professional support. Also, growing up in a disadvantaged society, in a community where drug use is very common. You, in fact, in the discussions spoke about it, that in a neighborhood where drug use is very common, there are some, the same study which I spoke of, which was conducted by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. There are certain areas where drug use is quite widespread. Almost every family has someone who is into some kind of drug use. So again, there is not much control, and also crime associated with drug use, crime as well. So these are the two factors which can put children at a higher risk of getting into drug use, because it's already in all the families, in the neighborhood, and there are these children who are into crime as well. So, and they may get into that kind of company. So it's possible that because of that, because of those factors, they may get into drug use, and parents in such situations do not have a lot of control on these situations.